The Vergas Show is brought to you by Spanky Stone Hearth, casual fine dining on beautiful Rose Lake. Vergas State Bank, your locally owned community full-service bank. Vergas Event Center for gatherings large or small, including weddings. Vergas Liquor Store, where all the profits profit Vergas.
Make the right call. Call Hanson's, the most trusted name in plumbing and heating.
Hi, welcome to the Vergas Show. I'm Sherry Hanson. We're here with Willi Humbeck. Hopefully you got last week's segment, and we're going to be talking about the Crystal Nights. And Willi, why did they call it that?
Because they started getting the Jews out in camps, and they burned everything. There was one, for instance, one Jew, he had a furniture store. They threw all the furniture on the road and lighted it, and that's all over the world.
And then I imagine the storefront windows and everything, there was glass all
glass
over.
And, you know, and crying people, the Jewish people, and they were kicked to shut up. And
so it was just complete chaos.
Yeah, that was a chaos.
Yes.
You might think, now, well, how do you know? Well, my sister, which is 5 years old, had me on her hand, and we looked around, but staying always far away.
Sure.
And my parents were there too. See?
And so they witnessed all this going on?
They witnessed everything, yeah. So, well, actually, I love you to ask me, you know. So that is why they call it Crystal Night, because they put everything on fire.
Sure.
Yeah? So anyway, then the next morning, this friend of ours, we were living together with my dad, said Siegfried, and we knew they had relatives in the United States. And my dad said, Siegfried, pack, you go, because nothing happened to him yet. And he says, so look, Willi, they didn't do anything to me, and they never will. And he came with a little jewelry case and opened it, and he had all the medals in there he earned during the First World War. Eh? No, he says, Willi, they don't do any, I'm a German, you know. Well, a day later again, they picked them up and we were standing on the 4th floor. You were not supposed to listening or be outside. We heard crying and screaming, and we looked down, so we knew what was going on. They picked those people up too. And then...
You never saw them again?
No, but they had a professorial camp out of the country, we heard. So we went right over there. That was very risky, but when they came, the camp was empty already. So we never heard anything about them again, but after the war, they were on a big ship which landed in New York Harbor, but the Americans did not let them come in. They supplied them with food and everything, but didn't let him in. But
so he lived?
Yeah, but then later we didn't hear anything anymore. No. After the war, the relatives, I don't know how they heard about us. You know, I was a young guy. They came and wanted my parents as witnesses, but they couldn't witness much. They did what they said what they knew, you know.
Sure.
So that's the story about the Jewish
Crystal
people.
Nights, yes. And so, how did you get? How did it happen that you ended up in the Hitler Youth?
The Hitler Youth, you were drafted.
You were drafted at what age?
Age, but because of my strange birthday in December, I don't know exactly anymore how it was. I was in there with 9.
You were.
So, and well, they made it clear, you better come, otherwise they'll hold you over. When they catch you on the road, they called it Hordenkeile. Keil means hitting you, you know.
Okay.
So you had no other choice. And in a way, you know, I was a little pride, young, dumb, you know. I always have to say that, young, dumb. All of us are young, dumb, and then we go to stages of life. So anyway, and I was very proud to have that uniform. Almost like this. A brown shirt, shorts.
Well, sure. They made you feel like you were something very special.
Yeah, oh, yeah, we were. We were the future for Germany.
And you believed that?
Yeah, of course. They brainwashed us, but then I had parents who brainwashed me in a way against it. too.
So when you were at home, your parents were telling you this is not a good thing,
Yeah.
but when you were there, the whole group, and so it's...
Because until that happened with the Kristallnacht, almost everybody believed in Hitler. You know, and of course we have to go why he got in charge. There's another story to it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we had a summer uniform exactly the way I said, with a shoulder belt, you know. And most of all, I was surprised having that nice knife engraved with the swastika, you know. You had that hanging here. Yeah, we were young, dumb.
Do you still have that?
No, nothing.
Yeah.
And then for the winter time, we had an extra uniform, of course, all in dark.
Sure. And what would you, and so what were, like, would you go in the morning and it'd be just like during a regular school
No,
day?
only in school already, we were already, you know, reading in the morning when we came, everybody, Heil Hitler. You had to march in the school and then in the room, you know. So everything was Heil Hitler. You could not use another, not good morning or, you know, good morgen. You had to greet wherever the Heil Hitler, and lift your hand, not just walking Heil Hitler. You know.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah.
So how long were you in this group?
The Hitler Youth, so I was 10 years, figure that quick out. So I was actually in there in 42 already.
Okay.
And not quite 10 years old.
10 years, oh sure.
Because my 10 years was in December. So yeah, 9, 10 years old, around 42.
Okay.
And the war started in 39.
Sure.
And the Kristallnacht was in 38.
So in the Hitler Youth then, they taught you to hate Jews.
Yeah, and we had, of course, combat games. You know, like one group was holding a hill with the German flag, and the other group in which I was, we had to get up and get that. And then we got in physical contact. Sometimes we came home bloody nose, swollen eyes. We really fought each other to get that flag. And I remember then we learned what they call here karate, what they call now karate. We call it jiu-jitsu. Because one day, and that too, physically, somebody hit me between the shoulders. I fell down, couldn't breathe anymore, but they brought me back. So those things we learned in combat. I learned shooting, and I hate guns, but I was a good shot at that time.
So shooting, guns, and then did they talk to you about the Nazi Party, to be proud?
Yeah, and then they taught us about the future, about the people, and then what would happen, and we were winning the war. Not, you know, that's how they brainwashed you. And they told us what the future would be. That's the Volkswagen means people's car.
Mm-hmm. You're good. I'm just going to put that back up there. Okay.
That means people's car.
Okay.
And telling us that we all would get a car after the war. And a house.
So Willi, and so what age did you get out of the Hitler Youth?
Okay, that is an extra story again.
That's an extra story. Okay, so we're going to have to come back and talk about that story, but before we do that, there's one question I have for you that we're going to close up today's story with, is you had friends that were Jewish friends, and then you went every day to Hitler Youth, and they told you to hate those friends.
In a way, they hate us, in another way, they taught us discipline, how to step in for each other, helping.
So there was actually some good things that came out of Hitler.
Yeah. Like discipline and helping
Discipline
each other.
and, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, that was good.
You know, it kind of, what goes into my mind is like, anytime you do something like that, if it's used for something good, it's good. But when it's used for something evil,
it's evil.
It's evil.
Yeah.
And so
I learned both ways.
Right, but I mean, when you have a leader like Hitler, the evil is what won.
In a way, yes.
Yes.
Yes, we were brainwashed.
You were brainwashed, yes.
So for instance, and we learned how to live. You could not say no if you got an order. And you cannot question it. You couldn't.
No.
If they said you do it, you do it. See?
Right.
Like they gave us only time 5 minutes to do the business. You know what business I'm talking about?
Yes.
And they had a sign over every toilet. Oh my God. But I have to say it, and that sign said 5 Minuten, that means 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Wird geschissen, that means pooping.
Yeah, and so they gave
5
you orders
Minuten
even for
wird
that.
geschissen, otherwise he was rausgeschmissen. That means they came and put you up. You could not take
All
anymore.
right. Well, we're going to continue about the Hitler Youth in our next segment. So I want to hear some more of this, Willi. And so, hopefully,
That's why I want you to question me. That's
right.
important.
Those
to me.
questions are good. And
Yeah.
so, stay tuned. We'll have one more segment with Willi. You have a good day in Vergas.